Welcome to part 2 of the It Ends With Us drama. I recorded part 1 a few months ago, and I was kind of waiting for the dust to kind of settle before I filmed a part 2. But shit has continued to hit the fan between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. So we're going to talk about it.
Fighting evil by the moonlight, winning love by daylight.
First, I'll break down the timeline of events, everything from about 2023 up till now. Then I'll go through some of the latest installments on the case, and then I will try to articulate my thoughts on the matter. I have many. I'll try to be succinct. So the timeline. Okay, so early 2023, Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni were announced as the stars of the film adaptation of It Ends With Us, with Baldoni also directing. May 2023, filming began, but was paused due to the Writers Guild of America strike. August 2024, so this is more than a year later, we've jumped, because they had to film the whole movie. So August 2024 is when the film was released and became a box office success. However, rumors of a feud between Lively and Baldoni began circulating as they avoided each other during the promotional tour. He literally went to Justin Baldoni went to a separate premiere and was basically in a basement and didn't interact with the rest of the cast. Super weird. So December 2024 is when Lively filed a harassment complaint against Baldoni, alleging inappropriate behavior on set and a retaliatory campaign to damage her reputation. Baldoni denied these claims and accused Lively of orchestrating a smear campaign against him. Now, December 31st, that same month, 2024, Baldoni filed a $250 million libel lawsuit against the New York Times for an article about the alleged smear campaign. On the same day, Lively filed a lawsuit against Baldoni and his associates for retaliation and harassment. So lots of he said, she said going on here. Lots of retaliation. And then January 2025, a month later, Baldoni's lawyer hinted at a potential countersuit against Lively. Then on January 16th, later that month, Baldoni's attorney filed a $400 million lawsuit against Lively, her husband Ryan Reynolds, and their publicist Leslie Sloan for civil extortion, defamation, and invasion of privacy. Then fast forward a few months to May 2025, and Taylor Swift has been subpoenaed. Travis unfollowed Ryan Reynolds on Instagram, and this is from BuzzFeed. I'm going to read it. Justin's lawyer, Brian Friedman, wrote a letter to a New York judge alleging that Blake told Taylor to delete their text messages and that a legal rep for Blake tried to get a quote, statement of support from Ms. Lively, intimating that if Ms. Swift refused to do so, private text messages of a personal nature in Ms. Lively's possession would be released. And from what we're hearing, it was like 10 years worth of text messages, which I don't know how 10 years would be. I don't know how much of that would actually pertain to the case if it's from 10 years ago. Blake's lawyers called the allegations, quote, categorically false and, quote, cowardly sourced to supposed anonymous sources and completely untethered from reality. This is what we have come to expect from the Wayfarer party's lawyers, they said, who appear to love nothing more than shooting first without any evidence and with no care for the people they are harming in the process. Taylor also put out a statement. Her publicist, Tree Payne, says, Taylor Swift never set foot on the set of this movie. She was not involved in any casting or creative decisions. She did not score the film. She never saw an edit or made any notes on the film. She did not even see It Ends With Us until weeks after its public release and was traveling around the globe during 2023 and 2024, headlining the biggest tour in history. Period. Full stop. So Blake's legal team eventually had the letter from Justin's lawyers stricken from the record. But the damage has potentially been done because a source close to Taylor tells People that their friendship has, quote, halted and that, quote, Taylor wants no part in this drama. Another source adds that Blake and Taylor are allegedly taking some space from each other for the time being, taking some spaces in quotes, but that they're, quote, not no longer friends. which is maybe an important distinction. But if someone asked me if I was friends with someone and I said, well, we're not friends, it ain't a good sign. And then the trial is set to begin March 2026, so a little less than a year from now, about 9-10 months from now, a whole pregnancy. So who knows what could come to light before then. Now, the latest installments. So before all hell broke loose with Taylorgate, Blake Lively's lawyer put out a statement saying this is not a feud arising from creative differences or a he said, she said situation. This was a statement that People reported. As alleged in Ms. Lively's complaint, and as we will prove in litigation, Wayfarer and its associates engaged in unlawful, retaliatory astroturfing against Ms. Lively for simply trying to protect herself and others on a film set. And their response to the lawsuit has been to launch more attacks against Ms. Lively since her filming. Sexual harassment and retaliation are illegal in every workplace and in every industry. A classic tactic to distract from allegations in this type of misconduct is to, quote, blame the victim by suggesting that they invited the conduct, brought it on themselves, misunderstood the intentions, or even lied. Another classic tactic is to reverse the victim and offender and suggest that the offender is actually the victim. This is a really long statement. These concepts normalize and trivialize allegations of serious misconduct. Most importantly, media statements are not a defense to Ms. Lively's legal claims. We will continue to prosecute her claims in federal court, where the rule of law determines who prevails, not hyperbole and threats. Baldoni's lawyer also said he will release every single text between them, which he did. And that is where we got the cringy millennial Blake Lively saying that she's Khaleesi and she has dragons, meaning Taylor Swift and her husband Ryan Reynolds. And speaking of Ryan Reynolds, I did not even think about this when I saw the Deadpool versus Wolverine movie, but Blake does make an appearance. I don't remember, is it Mrs. Deadpool? It's like a female Deadpool that she appears as. And they clearly mocked Justin Baldoni during this. I would butcher it if I tried to quote it. But essentially there was a Deadpool, a bunch of Deadpools show up. I'm not going to spoil the ending. That's honestly all I remember is a bunch of Deadpools show up. And there is, wow, I don't remember what he's called, but it's like a feminist Deadpool. And he has a man bun. He's a feminist. It's very much Justin Baldoni. And they end up murdering him pretty graphically. So I just think that adds an extra element to this. When I think of this, so many thoughts enter my head. Because first of all, if it's this serious, why are you making jokes about it? There's also art is creative expression. This is maybe how you get your rage out. But then the juxtaposition of this, the making fun of it, and fictionally murdering someone versus actually taking it to court. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I wouldn't be surprised if the intentions behind that got brought up in court as well. More videos continue to surface of Blake Lively treating her coworkers like shit and being really weird in interviews. There was one where she proudly states that she wore blackface somewhere. Just really cringy stuff. She's just a really cringy person. And that's not illegal. That's not, you're allowed to be cringe. But people are allowed to not like you. I also have a correction from part 1 of the video. So I believe I said that they did not hire an intimacy coordinator. An intimacy coordinator was hired the whole time. Lively allegedly refused to meet with her, according to Justin's case. But there was one there. They just didn't use her much, I guess, allegedly. Everything I talk about today is alleged. I am not a lawyer. I am just a bitch with a journalism degree. So my thoughts on the matter, everyone has opinions, right? And everyone's opinions are their own. So this is just mine. You know, no one knows these people. So it does get a bit weird to toe that line and speculate about things we don't know and we never really will know, but maybe we will. Maybe they'll come out in court. So I'm reserving a lot of my judgment for their day in court. But I do have some things to say right now. So at the end of the day, I believe both of these people are unreliable narrators. And I'm someone who believes in believing victims, especially women. And this has been compared to the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial. I myself have compared it to that, not because of the subject matter, but just because of the spectacle of it, the kind of circus following it. But like that, I think we have a woman here who's very easy to dislike. And that factors into my opinion too. I really, if we're going to be honest, I want to take Blake Lively's side. I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan. She's one of her best friends, not really anymore. But she was like BFF numero uno. And I've always loved, like, I've followed her career. I loved Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. I'm not someone who really like watched interviews of her and knew anything about her, other than what Ryan Reynolds puts out there on the internet. But I really wanted to like Blake Lively and I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. But at the end of the day, everything that's come out, and maybe it was Justin behind, you know, digging up the old footage and getting it out there. Maybe it happened organically. We'll find out March 2026. But either way, the proof is in the pudding, and she's not pleasant. She's not a very likable starlet. She's a Nepo baby. She's privileged. She's very spoiled. And she's just off-putting. She's not very nice to her coworkers or her interviewers, the people who are helping her pave the way. She seems a bit, throughout all of this and all of the details, it seems a bit narcissistic. It seems like she has something to prove, and she's using her platform with acting to do that, but not as an actress. She's trying to take on the role of director. She's trying to take over these films, and in the text messages with Justin Baldoni, we see her admit that she has done this on film sets before and people were not receptive, people were not kind. There were lots of late night confessionals between Blake and Justin. And I'm also here to say that neither party has their hands clean. Never trust a man who built his entire brand on being a feminist. This is why I say I think we have two unreliable narrators here. And similar to the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case, it seems like two rich assholes hell-bent on tearing the other person down because they think it will save their reputation, when actually they're the ones destroying their reputation by furthering this. So that's my like official opinion, if we're gonna have one. I don't want to have an opinion about this. I want to just wait and see what happens. But we have a whole little less than a year. So like I said, I'm trying to reserve my judgments, but that is my official judgment, is that this seems like a lot of inappropriate things happened on set. It seemed like a very unprofessional set. So will Taylor Swift testify? That's the big question. I don't think she will. From everything I'm hearing, I don't think she's going to show up. I don't think she wants to be part of it at all. If anything, she might provide a written statement similar to the statement she already put out to the press. But yeah, I think Taylor wants nothing to do with this because it's the Titanic. It's a sinking fucking ship. And she's smart. Okay, guys, that's the show. If you want more tea about the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, It Ends With Us drama, I would recommend checking out The Legal Eagle. He has a really good breakdown of the case. And then Dr. Ramani, has a nice little video on what the film gets wrong about abuse, and I will link those in the show notes. But let me know in the comments what you think of this case. Are you on a side? Whose side are you on? Are you like me and trying to reserve judgment, but you're still a little judgy? Let me know, because it's not black and white. This is a nuanced conversation and one I'm excited to have. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Join my Facebook group for Love and Justice to really join in on the discussion. And hope y'all have a great day. Bye.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.